And I always ask one question: who is your partner? Why do I ask the question? I can drop any legal document, but I cannot insert integrity into a document. I've been mentoring younger folks especially. The answer is no. They're not having deep enough conversations. Your choice of partner is the single most important thing that you can do.
Yes.
Choose the wrong partner and you sign up for a life of struggle. You need to understand, who am I getting in bed with? Literally and figuratively. You need to understand that person's DNA. Marriage will wake you up. Money reflects the person. Money will show who this person is. So if that person's a scoundrel, money will amplify that person's character. When we were in the UK, I bought shares of Amazon.
Okay.
Spent £3,000 in 30 years ago. The money doubled, and stupidly, I sold it. If I had left that money alone, that £3,000 is probably worth £2 million today. So all I needed to do was
Be patient.
and it occurred to me that these guys know something that I don't. I was learning things that nobody in Nigeria ever told me about. The school will never teach you about money.
Never.
That's not part of the curriculum.
How are you able to do that? To do it, I would say, successfully. Parents today, household, how they can actually do that at a young age to be able to set their kids up in a better way.
Okay. How long do you have?
What do you think we've not talked about today that you think will be beneficial for me, for my audience, that you wish I have asked you?
I think you've touched on very fundamental issues and very fundamental topics. Let me leave yourself and your audience with this.
Hello. We're back on another episode of the Seventh Voice podcast. And I have an amazing guest on this episode today. He's someone that I really respect. I've watched a lot of his video from afar. He's a lawyer, he's a father. He's someone you could actually learn a lot of things when it comes to financing, when it comes to investing. And if you want to really succeed, he's one of the people I would recommend you listen to. I have today Mr. Olabode. He's a lawyer, as I said, but people always call him the finance dad. Thank you so much for being here today. I want to know why people call you that name, and please tell my audience who you are.
Okay. My name is Bode.
Okay.
Full name is, of course, Olabode, but Bode Odetoyinbo. I'm a trial lawyer. I deal with all trial work, both personal injury and criminal defense. Okay. I've been doing this for almost 40 years.
Wow. 4 decades.
I'm fortunate in that the way my head is wired, my brain is wired, I do understand finance. I'm able to pick up finance very quickly, and I was persuaded a short while ago to actually take up that moniker of the finance dad.
The finance dad.
Because in essence, I've been monitoring, and sorry, not monitoring, that's the wrong word, I've been mentoring younger folks especially, because I see mistakes that people make and have an opportunity to actually have a one-on-one conversation with them so that they understand the way that money works, hence the moniker finance dad.
Wow. They could have called you the law dad as well, but it seems the finance dad actually stick well. And we're going to talk about why I feel like the finance dad is the right name for you.
Okay.
But let's go back to your social media, because I know you through your daughter, obviously, but I am someone that actually, the first time I saw your profile, I watched almost all your videos, and I was just listening. As I told you when I first meet you for the first time, I said, the way you talk, the way you educate people, it is what I think is missing in our society. It's what I think is missing in this generation, either my own generation or the newer generation. Okay. But there's one particular video that I watched that you talk about the importance of having conversation at the beginning of anything you're doing, relationship or even business. Do you think our generation, and I mean mine as well, or the newer one, do you think they are actually having that important conversation at the beginning of their relationship or business?
Okay.
Because I think they don't. Okay. So I just want to know, do you think people are having that conversation today?
That's a big question. Let me start by the end. Let me start with the end. The answer is no. They're not having deep enough conversations.
Yes.
But what did I say that? Your choice of partner is the single most important thing that you can do.
Yes.
Choose the wrong partner and you sign up for a life of struggle. Before you hitch up with somebody, you need to understand who you're dealing with. And I'm not talking a man only, I'm talking both parties. You need to understand, who am I getting in bed with, literally and figuratively. You need to understand that person's DNA. And by DNA, I mean, what is the blueprint of their mind? How do they think? Are they a spender? Are they a saver? Will they be a net contributor, or will they disrupt your peace? Those conversations you have before you say I do. If you say the I do and then discover,
it's tough now.
Marriage will wake you up. The realities will wake you up, and it's a hard struggle. Signing up for that after the fact. The opportunities to find out, and like I say, those conversations are not deep enough. But having enough time, giving yourself enough time to have those conversations that will tease out, who is this person? What is in the software of your head?
Is this conversation also important when you're getting into business with someone?
It's especially important when you're getting into business with somebody. Let me put it this way. So if I have, and very often we have people that come, that say they want to set up a business. And I always ask one question: who is your partner? Why do I ask the question? I can drop any legal document, but I cannot insert integrity into a document.
Wow.
A scoundrel will always be a scoundrel. Who is your partner? Because once you actually get in business with this person, guess what? You're mixing money.
Wow.
And money reflects the person. Money will show who this person is. So if that person's a scoundrel, money will amplify that person's character. So it's a non-legal question, but I always ask the question, who is your partner? Who are you getting business with?
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, if things don't work out, you should have known from the beginning.
From the beginning.
If you cannot understand, if you don't know who you are really dealing with, if that person hasn't revealed themselves to you, you're going to struggle. Because that money, when you actually become successful, that scoundrel, if that person is a scoundrel, will show who they really are.
So what I'm hearing from you now is money just show who the person are more. If you're dealing with someone that is, they will fraud you, either you like it or not. If they have more money, it's going to make it easier for them to now do it now.
100%.
Wow.
Integrity is not something you don't buy it at Costco. It's in it. The person who will do the right thing when nobody's watching, and will do the right thing when everybody's watching, is who you want to deal with.
That's true.
That kind of person, when you're always having palpitations about what they do, where they can't say something and you can't rely upon them, that's a very scary person to be in business with.
Yes.
Because today they might be good, but the inconsistency, the British have an expression, there is a darkness or there's a bit of a night about their character. You don't want to deal or get in business or get in bed with people who have the night about their character.
If you're mentoring someone today, because I just want to touch on, you said something then, and I'm like, okay, it's easy, it's the right thing for us to tell people, listeners, that you shouldn't get in business with someone you don't trust. But how would you even find out this person's, character? What should you do to get the real character to know that I don't want to do with this person?
Let me put it in this way. When a person goes for a job, there's a probation period.
Okay, yeah. Yes,
right?
I get it now.
There's a probation period.
Yes.
Why is there a probation period? It's because the employer that has taken a chance on you knows that you've come for an audition when you came for the job interview.
Yes.
And therefore they say, over the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 6 months or however long the probation period is, we will get to know you
better. Yeah.
And then we can say, yes, I do, or no,
I don't.
Thank you, but no thank you.
Even as an employee as well, as an employee, you are trying to know as well if person you're going to be working with.
Absolutely.
Is the right place.
And same thing with relationships. You test the person because everybody, both male and female, we are all on a good, best behavior.
Yeah.
When we want something, when we're trying to actually court the person. But is that the true, authentic, fulsome self that you are getting? Or will the real person show up 6 months,
After.
a year after?
And that will give you opportunity of cutting that relationship off as early as possible.
Why do relationships break up? Because what was presented to you at the beginning and what is presented to you 6 months down the line, a year down the line, may not necessarily match up. So how do you, to answer your question, how do you know? You test, you verify, you retest, you verify, and hope and pray. You're not going to get a perfect person, but at least you're going to get, hopefully, by asking intelligent, direct, probing questions, and then testing them in many ways. You will get hopefully as close an approximation of who they truly are, and then you make a decision, am I prepared to live with that person? Or not. And you make an intelligent decision. Hopefully it's the right one.
I hope people listening to this can, take from this, this conversation we just have now, because the beginning of anything you do, business, I have a lot of people that I like the way they do business and I really want to do something with them.
Okay.
But when I get closer to them, I see a few things that I ask myself, do I want to, as smart as this person is,
right,
do I really want to be in that? So I think that comes with what you're saying, like test and retest.
You got to.
Let's talk about your daughter.
Okay.
There's no way you're going to be on the podcast now that no one will ask you this question.
I'm happy to talk about her.
And she's someone that I've watched from afar for many years.
Okay.
I told her when she was on the podcast, because I was able to have her here as well. And I told her I've watched her from afar for almost 3.5, 4 years.
Okay.
And when I watched your video, that was when I knew why she's actually so good.
Thank you.
So I'm like, okay, she got all this from the finance dad. But I want to ask a question. It's easy for us to just joke about it. She has all this knowledge. You did something unique. I can feel that you're intentional about how you raised her. And especially with the financial knowledge and on that aspect, which is something we lack in many households, especially our own community. How are you able to do that? To do it, I would say successfully, because we can see the result. How are you able to do that? And how would you really advise or give opinion to people, parents today, household, how they can actually do that at a young age to be able to set their kids up in a better way?
Okay. How long do you have?
We have all day, don't worry.
Okay. A bit of background. I was exceptionally fortunate. I grew up with 2 exceptionally deliberate parents. My dad was a lawyer. I'm from a long line of lawyers.
Okay.
He was, before he became a lawyer, he was an educator. My mom was a school principal.
Oh, okay.
I grew up in a home full of a lot of love. Okay? Everything was very deliberate. Okay? That's all that I knew. How to be deliberate about doing things. The outcome, deliberation. This is what we're looking for. This is
the intention behind it.
The intention behind it. So there is no excuse being deliberate about it. But one of the things that I didn't know, even after I had finished university, I graduated, I worked in Gani Fahimi's law office. I was there for 3 years. I recognized when I moved to the UK, I didn't know about money. So I got to Lincoln's Inn Fields, and I was working for the Council of Law Reporting at that time. And all these wonderful people that I was meeting, these new people, and it occurred to me that these guys know something that I don't. But because of my background, I was raised with curiosity. I was always encouraged to ask questions. There was no question that was really taboo. Was always asked. You always ask questions, and you will get answers. To this day, even with my siblings, we will sit around, we ask lots of questions, we challenge a lot of stereotypes. And so getting to the UK, I was like, how? These guys are not smarter than me. Intuitively, because of the way that I was brought up, they are not smarter than me. They just know something I don't know. Because they had opportunities, they've had, and I didn't have those opportunities. So my natural curiosity, I started asking people questions. I started asking people. I asked people of my pigmentation, and I was getting answers that didn't make sense. So I thought, you know what? The next step is to actually find out. The undercurrent was money. They knew more about money than I did.
Yeah.
Okay? So I started this journey of going to the bookstores.
Wow.
By the way, I grew up in a bookstore. I grew up in a library. My dad was the university librarian.
Oh, okay.
So I grew up around books. My vacation jobs, I was around books. So the natural curiosity of being around books. When I was leaving work, I would stop by at the station. I would read. I'll go to the finance section to read about finance. And I was learning things that nobody in Nigeria ever told me about. Nobody ever told me about shares.
Oh.
All I knew was some uncle was well off, but he had real estate. So how do you make money in real estate? People always said that uncle is wealthy, but nobody could really
tell you
break it down. Break it down for me. What? How do you really make money in real estate? All they was like, he's made it. How did he's made it? What does that really mean? How do you make money? So in reading the books, I went from just reading a chapter while I'm waiting for my train to buying the books. And then I was just, is that right? The stocks and shares, real estate, this is how you make it. You buy and you hold. Then you hold, and then you hold some more. Got it. And somebody pays you rent. You buy 5% of it or 10% of it, and then somebody called a tenant buys the rest for you. That makes sense to me now. That makes sense to me. So this is how people do it. Okay. Got it. And then I made a promise to myself after reading, and I met the Motley Fool brothers.
Oh, okay.
They came to the UK at that time. I met the brothers, and they had a conference. I sat down with them, just like we sat down, and was one of the most pivotal conversations that I ever had about money.
Wow.
When I walked away from that conversation, I said to myself, my children will never have to start from where I started in terms of the money journey. Because the questions that I was asking, if I knew those questions, I'll be further ahead. So I learned about money. I didn't start practicing by not just talking about it, by actually committing money. Bought real estate, bought stocks and shares, and then was guided by the Motley Fool. And decided that when I had children, and when I had Rennie and Tenny,
I'm going to give them
right
knowledge.
From age 4 is when the journey started.
4? It looks like I'm late already for my kids.
You're not late. You're having the right conversations. Start early. Start with play. Have them become part of the conversation in the home. You are a member of the family. You're not just my child. You're a member of the family. You have to contribute to this family. I'm not talking about financially, but you have a contribution to make to the functioning of this ecosystem called the Odetoyinbo household. Okay? Part of it is financial. Part of it is doing chores. Part of it is making sure that we are all good. An uncle comes, it's your birthday, uncle gives you money. Let me show you how money works from what I have now learned. There are 3 portions of it. One part is for giving. One part is for saving. One part is for you. So that, say, call it £10 that you received, we're going to divide into 3. Okay? You know what this is for. This is your money.
Your money, yeah.
This part is for savings. And what is savings? Is a portion of your future that you have purchased.
Wow. I like that. Portion of your future that you've purchased today.
You purchase it with today's earnings.
Do you think that could be a good definition of investing?
That's investing. That's investing. It's a portion of your future that you don't have to buy back because you've already bought it with today's money. The money that has come into your hands, don't let it live your life. So, take a classic example. At that time, we had video stores where you want to watch a video. This was before Netflix. Just dated myself there. Before Netflix. So you go into the store to actually watch to rent a video.
Yeah.
And Rennie and Tenny would. The stores were very clever. They would have candies at the eye level.
To attract the kids.
To attract the kids. And so they will want to actually grab it and say, hang on. You want the candy? You don't have to buy it over here because it's marked up 200%.
Wow.
You can go to Asda or to Walmart. We can get it for half. What am I teaching? I'm teaching delayed gratification.
Not wasting the money as well. Wow.
So, by example, if you really want it, you're going to pay for it out of your money. And once you frame it in that way, instantly, your child starts understanding that, hang on, money doesn't only come from dad. I have money as well. But if I use up all my money to buy candy, maybe I don't really want it now. Maybe I want to buy it when I get to Walmart. Because if I use it up now, that's it. I don't have any more money.
Yeah.
So teaching them through just the discourse of every day will help them understand you have a role in the family, money has a role. The giving that I mentioned, whether you're tithing at your place of worship, or if you have people back home that you're supporting, comes out of that bucket. Okay? What you save, you put it in a bank account, and then teach them about interest. The money that goes in there. So the money that you take I took Rennie and Ten to the bank.
Okay.
Open up a savings account in their own name. So you have the money. This is out of this bucket. This is your money. This is how much you have there. Your job is to grow the money. Okay? You will get money, but your job is to grow it. You see how much it is right now? Maybe it's $4. Over the next 2 months, your job is to grow it to $8 to double your money.
The money.
So it's not the amount, it's the
percentage.
It's the percentage, the regularity, the increment.
Wow.
Okay? So just letting them understand and having conversations, regular conversations. We want to go grocery shopping? Hey, you are the CEO for the day. You will determine what we're going to have and what we're going to buy. So create a shopping list for us.
Wow.
And when you get in the store, you get in the store. Okay? Want to buy cereal? Go into the cereal, buy the cereal, and take out the cereals. Look at the prices because we have a budget. This is what we have to spend for all our groceries for the week. So you go there and then you compare the store brand versus Kellogg's as an example. And tell me which one you want. Because if you buy this, that means there's less for that.
And the budget will be affected.
The budget will be affected. So you're teaching through just regular conversations about budgeting, delayed gratification, choices, investments, and very soon, as parents, we think they're not smart enough, but these kids, they are incredibly smart.
Yes.
Incredibly smart. And you do that when they're at a very young age and keep on
doing it.
Keep on doing it.
Wow. There is one thing I want to do. I think you've mentioned it actually in your detailed answer.
Right.
Is the idea of in most households, especially the black community, talking about money is a taboo.
It is.
Even though they won't tell you it's a taboo, but it is.
Right.
Because as you said, you only ask questions based on how they give you the opportunity, right?
Sure.
But if your parents never actually talk about the money,
right,
you wouldn't want to ask about the money. I have one of my guests on the podcast as well that said he's probably in his 30s now, and he said you never know how much his parent was making at all until probably a few months ago. So do you think, I know you've mentioned a few ways to do it. Do you think there's a way for us to not make conversation about money taboo in the household?
It's absolutely critical that a conversation must not be a taboo. It must be part of the rich people have money conversations.
So the parents should start that conversation.
Look, the school will never teach you about money.
Never.
That's not part of the curriculum. Where you learn about money is the conversations at home. And when I say home, home could be an uncle. Home could be an auntie. Home could be that ecosystem of people that have understood how money works and can have conversations just like we're having right now. Rennie, how did you do?
How much is left in your account?
Do you understand that when you are in grade 11 or 12 or whatever, they're going to teach you about, for example, how to do a daycare, not a daycare, child minding.
Okay.
You know why they teach you that? It's so that they start training you on how to make money. So don't just think that it's part of just the regular curriculum. The school is already training you about how to make money. But that is the only time they ever teach you about how to make money.
Wow.
Don't let the message be lost on you. So in our homes, people of our pigmentation, it's absolutely critical, especially in this part of the world, that the conversations are very open, very frank about money. Because if you don't understand the way money works and credit works and how you avoid going to the payday loan centers, or how credit cards work, or how your credit bureau works, you're setting your child up for a life of struggle. Because those conversations that you didn't have, they're not going to have it in school.
In school.
And if you have it with your friends, they may not know.
At all. And in this part of the world, as you said, it's important.
It's critical.
Even back home, but it's just that here, the credit system, you need to understand it.
If you don't, you set yourself up for struggle.
Wow.
Things that you should have today, because you've not understood the way credit works, it could take you 5 years. And 5 years of not having the opportunity to invest at a reasonable interest rate is horrendous.
Wow.
When you amortize it over many years.
We've been talking about money, which I like the conversation of money, of course.
Okay.
But there's one thing that I believe you and I have in common, which is and a lot of our listeners actually have as well. You're an immigrant in this country. You migrated to this country, and while we are trying to learn about the financial life of where you just moved to, there's another battle or challenges that you might be facing as well.
Okay.
Which is how to navigate as an immigrant.
Okay.
So I want you to, knowing what you know today about life, about even about money.
Right.
How would you advise a new immigrant to, especially Canada that we are in now, that they can get started and set themselves up for success as an immigrant?
Okay. Let me categorize immigrants into 2 buckets.
Okay.
We have some immigrants that come here, they are extremely wealthy.
Okay, that's true.
Okay. So I'm going to leave that bucket alone. I think the one bucket that really needs more conversation about is the bucket where, say you are in your 30s or you're less than 30. You've worked for a few years back in your home country, you've come over here. You've sold up all your assets. You have a little bit of money, okay? And you've come over here. You've never paid the first and last, the Canadian first and last. So you think that money is going to go somewhere. For the love of God, ask questions before you get to the shores of this country. Ask questions about how this system works. Wow. This is a very ordered society. This is a society that what you don't know will hurt you.
That's very, very powerful word.
What you do not know, it will hurt you. It will set you back. It will hold you back for years. It can hold you back for decades. Be careful of who you are getting the information from. Get the answers. See that encyclopedia we hold in our hand, called a cell phone. It can give you lots of answers.
Yes.
ChatGPT. There's so much information that you can find out from ChatGPT, but it comes out to the quality of the questions that you ask. So, to your question, I always say one thing, anybody who lands here, critical first 90 days, especially in Ontario, you don't have health cover. If you fall ill in the first 90 days and you need to be hospitalized, it can be ruinously expensive. Do not come to Ontario unless you have insurance cover for the first 90 days.
Wow.
And I'm telling you this from my legal experience where I've dealt with people who have been here and they've used up all of their resources.
Thinking they have the health insurance. I'm going to be honest, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
I actually didn't know that.
It is
maybe I know. I don't think I know that.
It is horrendously expensive.
Wow.
Horrendously expensive. And what does it cost to insure? Very little. Because, this is the way I look at it. When you leave your home country, you travel 10,000 kilometers to start a new life. You're playing offense. You must play defense as well as your offense. Because as you're trying to we're economic migrants, as you're making that move, you're busting that move to go to these greener pastures, you want to make sure that anything that can take you out of the game, you take care of it.
Take care.
And that's where insurance comes into play. So insurance, if you fall ill, if something were to happen to you, if you're unfortunate enough to be involved in a motor vehicle accident, you want the insurance that takes you through that rough patch. Okay, that's number one. Number two is when you get here, try and get a credit card as soon as you can. And by a credit card, you start off with a, what do you call it now? There's a credit card where you prepay.
Okay, the prepay one, okay.
To start building your credit.
Yes.
Because if you don't have credit over here,
it's going to be challenging.
It's going to be very challenging, like you know. So try and understand the way the system works. When I got over here, I read books on tax.
Wow.
Unusual, but I was like, I need to know. This is too important to guess. I read a book on tax that was written in English because nobody likes to read dry topics like tax. But I read that to understand what do I need to know so that I can flourish in this country. So understand the tax system. If you have young children, you've got a job. One of the things that I discovered was that your children, if they're going to higher education, the cost of higher education always rises beyond inflation.
Oh.
Therefore, it is in your interest to start a registered education savings plan at a very young age. Because that money that you put into the RESP can grow compounding and can compound so that by the time they are ready to go to, it's already funded. Let me give you the example with Rennie and Tenny. When I read that book and I understood it, we started contributing. You get an instant 20% return on your money. If you put in, at that time, I think it was $2,000, the government will give you $400. 20% return. You're a numbers guy. You understand what I mean with it?
Yes.
So you get an instant return. Plus, the money now has an opportunity to work for you for many years. The money that we put in over for both of them, I think, was about 25 or 28,000. We stopped contributing when Rennie turned 16. That money had grown so much, it paid for Rennie's university education. It paid for Tenny's university education.
Wow.
And it paid for Tenny, she's now a Bay Street lawyer. It pays for law school.
Wow.
So every parent, if there's something I must share with you, put your money in an RESP. Start early. I didn't have to contribute any more money.
And they don't have to have any debt after their university.
Critically important. They start life without debt. Okay? Starting your wealth journey after you graduated without having the albatross of debt. is one of the biggest life hacks in Canada. And the government is saying to you, Bode, Aziz, please put money in here. We'll give you a 20% return.
Wow.
Don't turn away free money. Okay? So that's, if there's anything anybody is listening to right now, put your money into an RESP.
For your kid.
I like self-directed RESPs because there are all kinds of packages that don't do as well, but I like self-directed RESPs.
What does that mean?
Okay, a self-directed means you make the decision as to what to buy.
Okay.
I buy technology companies. I buy the NVIDIAs, I buy the Microsofts and things like that. They do historically much better. And that's what I bought. I didn't buy any packaged products. I bought technology companies. My children's university was paid for by technology.
Wow.
Okay? And I would thoroughly recommend it to most people. I have one simple philosophy when I'm buying technology. I invest in the best and I leave the rest alone. Invest in the best and leave the rest alone. You want quality companies. You want market leaders that have defensible moats, that have fortress balance sheets, like a Microsoft, like NVIDIA. You want companies with visionary leadership. You want to be part of those companies. Put your children's future in their hands.
You mentioned something that is one of the things I actually wanted to ask you.
Okay.
I want to ask, I know you invest in stock and real estate.
Yes.
And sometimes people find it challenging to even choose which one they should do. What's your strategy of investing? Do you invest based on I know now you invest a lot in technology stocks, but do you choose which one to invest, either real estate or stock, based on the market, or you just have a strategy that you go with to be concurrently in both?
Okay. Let me preface this by saying I've been doing this for 30 plus years. So I have a bit of an advantage.
Yes.
When I started off with purely stocks. Okay. If I was to do it again today, I would do it exactly the same way.
Okay.
I would invest in the stock market first. The stock market is the seed for bricks and mortar. Because the money that you put in, let me give you this example. If you bought shares of NVIDIA, say you had $5,000 and you bought shares of NVIDIA 2 years ago, your $5,000 is probably worth 15, maybe 20,000 today. To save up 20,000 to have as a down payment for a piece of Ontario real estate in the economy that we're in is tough.
Yes.
It's tough.
It is.
So why not put it into a TFSA, the tax-free savings account? You grow the money tax-free, and that becomes a seed capital that buys you your home. Okay? But grow it in a tax-free, government-advantaged investment account. And when that grows, then you can buy whatever you want. But I understand the struggle. People come in here and they say, I want to buy my home, I want to show, I want to blow, and all this kind of stuff. They want to do that quickly. You can do that, but I would suggest that there's another way. And the other way is to learn about the stock market. We don't really understand fully the stock market and the power of the stock market. But the stock market is arguably, in my opinion, a better wealth accumulator than even real estate.
Wow.
Not many people will agree with me, but my experience tells me.
I mean, you've done it. You are both, and you're saying the truth. People want to succeed; they have to listen.
Rennie bought her first home.
I saw the video.
She bought her first home with technology.
Yes.
Her education was purchased with technology. Technology stocks. Invest in technology. It's always the first one out of the box.
Is it still relevant to do that today, or you think they've left?
Even more so today.
Okay.
Even more so look, we're in the midst of the greatest transformation in your lifetime and my lifetime. Artificial intelligence is not a passing phase. it's not a passing phase. It's going to make millionaires and billionaires. And to the extent that it's going to do that, I have an obligation, you have an obligation, your wife has an obligation to learn about it and invest in those companies that are going to transform everything that you do and that will also make you wealthy along the journey.
Wow. There's another investment vehicle that is a little bit popular now.
Okay.
Blockchain, the crypto.
Okay.
Do you invest in that?
I have a very small allocation, like a 0.5% allocation. I tend to invest in what I understand.
Okay.
Crypto, I understand a little bit.
Okay.
I call it my my casino money.
Okay.
It might not be crypto, might not be casino, but I don't understand it.
Yes. Yeah.
I invest with comfort. I want to be able to sleep at night. And crypto doesn't allow me to do that. I'm not saying it's bad. Let me just be very clear. I'm not saying it's bad. I know people have made a lot of money from it, but I don't understand it. Maybe I'm just too old school. I'm just an old man.
You're not.
But I have a very small allocation to crypto. But I recognize that people make money from it, and I just...
do you recognize the technology behind the crypto and
the blockchain and all that?
Blockchain. Yeah. Do you understand how it works? Because as you said, which is something you've done very well in understanding the stock, and obviously real estate is something that people have to know, which you've used these two vehicles to build wealth,
right,
to help your kids as well. And I always tell people, I'm not someone that educate people about blockchain or crypto. Right. No, I do have some, of my investment there as well. But I was thinking the idea of understanding the blockchain per se,
right,
is like understanding the stock, but don't understand the individual company.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
Understand what is behind actually stock. So I think it's the blockchain part that people find difficult to understand. Right. Because when you understand that, you see that it's not about blockchain. Is not about crypto only. That's what I think from my own perspective.
Right, and you're probably right. Like I say, I only invest from my comfort level.
Yes,
it's not my comfort level, and I'm happy to live it. One of the things I've learned over the years is, look, if my spirit man is saying this is not your area of skill and confidence, leave it alone. I'm happy to leave money on the table and just do what I understand. And just a very simple law for me.
Have you regretted any investment before? Is there any?
Have I regretted
any investment? No, not crypto. Like, have you done any investment in something that you're like, I regret doing this? Or maybe you get out early on an investment.
Absolutely.
What are you?
Many times. Many times. When we were in the UK, I bought shares of Amazon.
Okay.
Spent £3,000 in 30 years ago. The money doubled. And stupidly, I sold it.
Oh.
If I had left that money alone, that £3,000 is probably worth £2 million today.
Oh.
So all I needed to do was
be patient.
Just buy the best, keep on buying it, pretend as if I'd either lost my password or I was dead, and then come back 30 years later.
And look at it.
And I'll be set for even better than I am right now.
Wow. So when you sold it, because obviously you have more knowledge and experience in investing.
Right.
But I've done something similar. It's a piece of land that I bought.
Okay.
And I sold it because the money kind of, even, I think, almost three times three of what I bought it from.
Yeah.
And I sold it.
Right.
But the question is, what did I use the money for? I can't really say. So now, I look back and I'm like, that piece of land now, one, worth far more than times three.
Right.
Two, I could have actually left it and rented out.
Yeah.
Of course, it was a big piece of land that I bought. I have a farm at that time.
Okay.
So, what did you use the money for when you sell it? Because for sure, I feel like you might not even use it for something.
I'm not sure what I really use that money for, but I never stopped investing. And I bought other things that went up, and they did quite well.
But that one was...
That one was, in hindsight, it was I learned some very valuable lessons.
Some there.
You have the opportunity, and here's the other part of that. I took my money off the table. Amazon shares dropped by about 96%.
Wow.
What I should have been doing was to have bought more.
Wow.
But I was a baby investor, and I thought, you know what? It's safer in the bank of body, in the pocket of body, than in the stock market. But just leave it alone and let time do what it's supposed to do, and compounding. And I would have done infinitely better. But I took the money off the table, and 100% is not shabby.
Wow.
But compared to what it would have been, it's like hundreds of thousands better if I just done the right thing, was just leave it alone, pretend it doesn't exist, buy the best, keep on buying the best, invest, automate it, just keep on buying the best, and get out of the way.
Of yourself.
Of yourself. Don't interrupt the compounding. Come back in a decade. Come back in 2 decades. You'll be exceptionally wealthy.
Wow.
But the key is don't interrupt it. Just look for the best themes. So in infrastructure, in IT, for example, in artificial intelligence, who's the best player? Who has a rock-solid balance sheet? It's NVIDIA. It's a no-brainer. Buy NVIDIA.
2025. Buy NVIDIA.
Buy NVIDIA. That's what I do.
2030, you're going to look back this way. I'm like, and I watched the podcast. They said buy it. I wish I did.
If you look at a chart of NVIDIA over the last 30 years, this thing has done 435,000%. Wow. There is no piece of real estate that's going to give you that kind of return.
Wow.
And it has just begun.
Wow. Today, I don't know, we have a conversation that feels like, even though I'm happy that you're here to have that conversation with me, but it feels like I'm just learning new things as well. Okay. Because I always think I have enough knowledge. I do have a lot of knowledge, but hearing you talk about it kind of opened my mind in a different way. We've talked about, having important conversations. We've talked about money. Mm-hmm. We've talked about the intention behind how you raise your kids.
Yep.
And I was just wondering, is there anything that I did not ask you today? That when you were driving, you're like, okay, this I'm going to talk about this podcast. Because I think we've touched on a lot of important stuff that I'm going to actually have to go back to go watch this as well. I'm going to be my own listener as well.
Okay.
Because it's kind of full of a lot of impactful tips that you mentioned today.
Right.
What do you think we've not talked about today that you think will be beneficial for me, for my audience, that you wish I have asked you?
I think you've touched on very fundamental issues and very fundamental topics. Let me leave yourself and your audience with this. You must leave more in your children than to your children. Because if you only think about leaving money to your children, they will not value it and they will burn that money.
Leave more in them than for them or than to them.
Correct. Because that money, if you just hand them money, you haven't taught them how to fish. So the knowledge that you impart to them will last to your children's children's children.
Wow, that's about 3 generations.
And to infinity. Because if you leave more in them, it becomes part of their DNA, and they will pass it on to the next generation.
Wow. I don't think there's any better way to end this podcast. You've given the most important, advice, opinion to people. Leave more in your children than to them. And what you leave in them is what's going to help them to grow in future.
100%. I
don't know how I can thank you enough for saying yes to coming to this podcast. When you said yes and we follow up with each other with emails, I just felt like it's going to be a very powerful podcast. We're going to be releasing this at the beginning of the year, so it's going to be a good episode for my audience to start 2026 with, listening to this episode.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're very welcome.